taking it easy and
Good.
stuff. So
And you got, just in case, you've got aspirin.
I started on aspirin because he told me to. So 80 milligrams.
Yeah.
I didn't think we weighed that.
Take it every day.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso Workshop. It is June the 6th, 2023. But before I'm going to ask you to join with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. But remember, today is D-Day, June 6th.
Yep.
75 years ago today that a bunch of brave souls stormed the beaches of Normandy in France. And that took a lot of doing back then. So you can imagine the tension that our country felt then, the families, all that. But we owe a lot to those folks. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right, you may be seated. Thank you. Yeah, forgive me, I'm still fighting these allergies. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor Crawford.
Here?
Counselor Eby.
Here.
Counselor Letterman.
Here.
Counselor Salas.
Here.
Counselor Hooker.
Here.
Counselor Coughlin.
Here.
And Counselor Jackson.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, today is just a workshop, so we're just looking to see where we want it listed on the agenda. So we'll start off with the agenda item number 1 is discussion on resolution 2023-17, a resolution for commitment of funding from the New Mexico Department of Transportation for 2024 and approval of local government road fund cooperative agreement L2 00597, total project cost of $257,077.00. The Village of Ruidoso's proportional matching share will be 25% or $64,269.00. And we got to meet our new commissioner yesterday that was appointed by the governor. He lives here in Ruidoso. So I thought it went real well, didn't you, Adam?
Absolutely.
Ron was here, and Ron is joining us today from Santa Fe. He and Michael have a managers meeting for the next couple of days. So go right ahead, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. This is our co-op project that we put in every year.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be for the Innsbrook Village area and the roads in there. Like you had mentioned, our 25% will be $64,269.
The only question I got is, all the water issues they're having over there with the water lines.
Yes, sir.
What's our plan for that?
I'm trying to get a plan, Mayor, I'm trying to get a plan together to get some of the service lines and stuff replaced before we do this project.
Okay. And forever, we thought that Innsbrook owned this property and the roads in therein, and then we found out sometime back that a council accepted that into the village. So when do you think that once this is approved and received, that we'll be able to start that?
This will be, we won't be able to start this until after July. And then we are working currently on our map project coming from Grindstone. We just have a little bit there left to do. We're gonna do the intersection at 5th Street there, and then come on down and then do the circle. And then after that, we still do have our existing co-op of
Side streets.
the
Side streets.
Sutter.
on Sutter. And then we'll jump into it as soon as possible, you know, just.
I was just curious, because, you know, they're
Right.
asking it, the standard potholes, but y'all filled most of those.
Yes, sir. We've gone through there a few times and filled potholes, repatched, you know, they're still just coming up with the infrastructure there. But that will be, I mean, we do have to finish our current co-op before we jump into this.
Okay?
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I recall, the service line, the meters are on the driveways,
Yes, sir.
right? So we're looking at moving those back to the sidewalk, or are we leaving them where they're at?
Really, we'd have to, Counselor Salas, we'd have to leave them where they're at, or we'd have
Okay.
to hire plumbers to retie in their side, so.
Right.
The main thing is a lot of those service lines are meter to meter galvanized instead of going to the main, so there's like 4 or 5 meters, on one galvanized service line. And it's
Okay.
leaking underneath the driveways, the concrete driveways. So, you know, if we can get some of the copper, or get copper in there or PEX in there instead of galvanized, to fix those leaks instead of tearing up the roads. And
Okay.
a lot of the leaks that we've had in that area have not actually been in the roads, they've been in the landscaping or the driveways.
Right. So it wouldn't affect if he gets the road paved, right? So we don't have to worry about that.
In certain spots, it may affect the road, that's why I'm gonna try to assess the worst ones and try to get those ones replaced that are actually in the road.
Okay.
And we can assess the other ones later on.
Okay, that works.
Any questions?
Just that, Josh, I know you have a window that you can do pavement.
Yes, sir.
And you said after July, so is that because you have to finish these other two before July?
Well, the one that we have now, the map project now is due by the end of the month.
Okay,
After July, we won't even get any, even though we're doing it through and it shows our money here, it won't be, this co-op project, actually, the co-op runs fiscal year.
right.
So it's January to December.
Oh, it's calendar year.
Calendar year.
Calendar year, yes, sir. And then the map project runs fiscal year.
Okay. Okay,
So this one actually would be January before we can even, because we have to finish the one that we're on by December.
so this isn't happening until 2024?
Yes, that's what this was put in.
Oh, I
for,
thought you
yes,
said
sir.
July.
And that was my fault. I was thinking
Oh.
of the map project. Yes, sir. I
Okay.
apologize for
Okay.
that.
So we're not going to do Innsbruck until July of 2024.
It'd be, we can start on it
After
January,
Of January.
Weather permitting.
weather permitting, yes,
So
sir.
realistically, April.
I mean, realistically, we could go up and start this area in January, and the side roads around it, we could start pulling the bar ditches and preparing everything to pave
Right.
and getting everything ready. So the project itself, we could start, weather permitting, you know, in between, because January we're still getting snow. But we could start pulling the bar ditches, opening up all the culverts and getting everything
Yep.
moving and ready to pave on that. Yes, sir.
Where do y'all want that?
Consent.
Consent, is that good with y'all?
Recommend consent.
Okay, thank you. Item number 2 is yours, discussion on resolution 2023-18, a resolution of commitment of funding from NMDOT MAP program for 2024 and approval of NMDOT Municipal Arterial Program Agreement. Total project cost $285,300. The Village of Ruidoso's proportional matching share shall be 25%, or $71,325. Yes. Now, this is the one you were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is the one that does run fiscal year. Like I said, we do have to finish this one up by the end of the month and get everything turned in. We're right there on the end of it,
Okay.
the tail end of it, so this will start in July, and
This one will start in July.
yes, sir.
He's gotta
Okay.
finish the map project that he's currently on.
Yeah, you'll finish it up in June,
Yes,
and
sir.
then this one starts in July.
Yes, sir.
And where is this one going to be?
This is going from Sutterth Drive.
Yes.
It's Country Club, so it'll go
Right.
from Sutterth Drive all the way across and meet into Cree Meadows.
Right, okay.
Okay, those cards and letters will start coming about that time. What do y'all want?
Consent.
Hey, item number 3, discussion of second renewal agreement with Zach Cook, pardon me. Mr. Man of many, what do you call those things? Profile pictures lately,
Yeah,
if you haven't noticed.
I thought he was hacked or something.
I asked him yesterday. He said, no, he was doing it to himself, so. Yeah. For professional services as general counsel for the village of Ruidoso.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. This is on Zach's agreement, and if there's any questions, feel free to ask.
Does anybody have any questions?
I will say that his attendance record is really good this past year, so.
Yes. He's gotten a lot of brownie points. His attitude's improving.
And I like the Photoshop.
It could be that month in Colombia. We don't know. But-
Yeah.
All right, consent. Item number 4, discussion on agreement with Ruidoso Valley Chamber of Commerce for the professional services for operation of the Ruidoso Visitor Center, Billy the Kid Visitor Center, and Wingfield House Heritage Center of the Village of Ruidoso in the amount not to exceed $227,700 for the period of July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. Deborah, did you have anything you want to add? Because I know we've talked to you about adding some folks to help us over at the Wingfield House.
Right, and unless you guys have any questions, at Wingfield House so far, since we're really not quite sure what's going to be going on over there, we just put in for 4 hours a day, 7 days a week for a part-time employee. So depending on, if you get a heritage person hired,
And we've got some really good ones.
Oh, good.
Apps, it looks
Good,
like, so.
good. Yeah, so I don't know if you have any questions. It did increase from the 2019 contract, but minimum wage back in 2019 was $7.50. So we've had a little bit of increase in costs and utilities in that.
Okay, anybody have any additional questions?
Mayor and Council, I'd like to add that this agreement, and Judy can help me out with this, the current agreement we had, the lifespan had expired. So we have put this out on the Sunshine Portal as a sole source. So it would not actually be signed until the very last day of June.
Mayor and Council, we are currently in the process of advertising as a sole source procurement. So we have to have it on our portal for 30 days. So it went on June 1st. So the contract won't be able to be signed until the 30th for effective July 1st.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is this employee going to be a part-time?
Yes, yeah, for the Heritage House. Right now, we have 3 part-time employees out at Billy the Kid, one full-time and a part-time employee there at the Visitor Center at the Chamber, and then it'll be part-time at the Heritage House.
So that's a sole responsibility then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
4 hours a day. So you'll be moving several over there 7 days a week. Okay.
Yeah,
Where do you want it?
Consent.
You good?
thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
Number 5, discussion on memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and the Ruidoso Midtown Association, RMA, for the installation and maintenance of a commercial electronic variable message sign on village property for the purpose of advertising RMA and other community events and civic organizations. Is everybody familiar with this? It's going on the Country Club property by the parking lot up close to Suttereth. And I guess it's right where the existing sign was at, right in there, because I know we're using the electrical. Who am I looking for? Ron?
Hey, Mayor, Council, this agreement, Zach had prepared an agreement for the Spencer Theater, and we had the sign by the swimming pool installed, and this is just the same agreement, just had the different contractual service with the RMA on this, and we'll continue on. We just wanted to make sure we had some sort of liability being on the village property.
Okay, thank you. And it was purchased by funds from lodger's tax.
Where is that going to be on that property?
Right up there by the sidewalk on Suttereth,
Is it a one-sided or?
two-sided.
Two-sided. Who's authorizing the ads going up or the information going up on there?
I'm not really sure, Ron.
Mayor Crawford, Councilor Salas, they'll be responsible for, but there's Matt there on the ads, but we have secondary, but I'll add, I know Matt's been working with Kendra.
Mayor, council, so they will have, they'll be the ones that manage all the ads, all that stuff. We will have the secondary input on it if there's something that we don't like or don't want on there. We do have that authority to have them bring it down. Part of it also is they'll be working along with us to advertise our programs as well as Midtown associations.
And they will be selling ads,
Yes, sir.
generate revenue for their,
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
consent?
Consent?
Mayor,
Yes,
may I
ma'am.
add something? And Ron can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this sign was purchased from the junior bill.
Was
Instead
it?
of larger sets.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. This is from the junior bill funding, and we'll be submitting a reimbursement on this to the Economic Development Department, so.
Okay, very good.
Ron, we have already gotten reimbursed for everything on the
Oh, cool.
billboard. The only thing that we have outstanding on the junior bill for RMA is Brudoso, and I'm getting ready to do one reimbursement for that for almost $9,000, and then they'll have the remaining 11 that they will have to get to us before June 30th, and I've already talked to Kendra about it.
Okay.
Thank you, Judy.
Item number 6, discussion on adoption of Resolution 2023-16, a resolution amending the Village of Ruidoso Personnel Policy, Chapter 4, Section 4-3, Pay for Performance, Chapter 6, Employee Benefits, Section 6-7, Holiday, and Section 6-15, Military Leave, and Chapter 16, Miscellaneous. Section 16-8, Employee Committee Policy. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. This resolution would amend, just make some minor amendments to the policy. Section 4-3, because of the pay plan approval, we did agree to reduce the pay for performance percentage to 1% for all employees. So that will clean that up. Chapter 6, Section 6-7, holidays. We have discussed this since I've come on board, and there's a lot of argument on both sides of this, but we have partnered with the county, and we decided to mirror the county's policies so that if we have an employee working an 8-hour shift typically, then they are eligible for 8 hours of holiday pay. If an employee is regularly scheduled a 10-hour shift, then they're eligible for 10 hours holiday pay, which helps
Finally.
the PD, and there's another department or two that do 10s. That way, they don't have to make up those extra 2 hours through vacation or overtime on another
Yeah.
day. So we'd like to clean that up. On the, 6-15 military leave, this was an oversight when we did the rewrite. We are required by law to provide up to 15 days military leave for military members to attend training throughout the year. That without pay just needs to come out to clean that up. That was incorrect. And then 16-8, typically in the past, the employee committee has provided a plant for employees who had a baby, got married, had a death in the immediate family. We just don't have the funds to do it. With costs going up at the floral shops, we can't afford to send a plant every time someone has a surgery or gets married or has a death in the family. The committee did vote to do cards, so we've invested in some cards, and the committee's signing those, and we're getting them out to the employee. I believe the last number I had, hopefully Judy, this is right, that we're getting about $300 a pay period deposited into the employee committee fund. And then we're trying to find other creative ways to raise money. We're selling snacks and doing different things. And I just took out the specifics on this policy and just said those deductions will be used for employee events throughout the year. And I'll stand for any questions.
All good. Where do you want it?
Consent.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Discussion on memorandum of understanding with Capitan Therapy and Behavioral Health LLC to provide individual and group domestic violence offender treatment in the amount not to exceed $6,000, including gross receipts tax. All right, Mr. Hollywood's coming. Good morning, Bill.
Thank you.
This is the same thing that we've done. This will be the third year on this, and it is going a lot better now than it had been. The first year was a little shaky, and we didn't spend much of the money, but I think we're going to get it all spent this year on all of our counseling.
Okay, and you have the counselors set up? Is that through Independence here in
Well,
town or in the
this is-
county?
This is a private company, and we pay for court-ordered counseling if it is an indigency type thing. They have to fill out a form, and if they qualify, then we pay for it.
Okay.
And we've been paying 100% of most of them.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that, Mr. Lieutenant?
No, sir. Sounded great.
Okay, and then we have item number 8, if y'all don't mind, we'll kind of put these together since they're here.
Yeah.
They're individual but separate, same discussion. Discussion on memorandum of understanding with Hope Floats Addiction Counseling, alcohol violence, domestic violence, offender treatment, $6,000 also.
Yes.
And then we have 9 through 14, which is the discussion on the MOUs, Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program, enforcement activities reimbursement of costs in the amount of $2,000. Item number 10 is the MOU, Lincoln County DWI program and the City of Ruidoso Downs as administrative authority for the Ruidoso Downs Police Department for the DWI enforcement is $6,000. Item number 11 is the MOU between the Village of Ruidoso as fiscal agent, Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program, and the Village of Ruidoso as administrative authority for the Ruidoso Police Department, and that one is for $2,000. All these expire in 2024. Item number 12 is the MOU between the Village of Ruidoso as fiscal agent and the Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program for the town of Carrizozo. That's for $2,000. Item number 13, MOU between the village as fiscal agent and Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program for the county of Lincoln for $2,000. Item number 14 is the discussion on subgrant agreement between the Village of Ruidoso as the fiscal agent for the Lincoln County Ruidoso DWI program and the Department of Public Safety of New Mexico acting through the Grant Accountability and Compliance section for DWI in the amount not to exceed $6,000. Does that get all of them?
It's all of them through those sections. I guess I have a question for Judy. Do we collect an administration fee from these grant amounts?
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor, no, we do not collect an admin fee off of this grant. All the funds are used to fund DWI prevention and the overtime
Right.
for any police.
Is there any provision that we can charge a 2% admin fee or anything, or do you know
I've
of?
never seen it in the grant.
I don't think that can be done. We've got the county or the fiscal agent has to do well, it's not matching funds, but it, I don't know, what do they call that?
Mayor Pro Tem Mayor, so on our monthly reports, we have to clock some time that we're administrating it since the grant is to the village.
Okay.
So I believe you used some of my time, right? And some other times, but I don't think I've ever seen within the grant where there is a provision that says anybody can take an admin fee. Most counties and municipalities, they are either, the grant is actually ran through the city or the grant themselves. I think this is the first situation where we have a contractor relationship, but most other people run it themselves.
Run it themselves. Okay.
The village does get quite a bit out of this grant. As a for instance, last year we bought $32,000 worth of equipment for the police department.
Right.
And this year we've bought quite a bit of equipment for the village and other police departments in Lincoln County. So it's not a, it's not a complete loss.
Right. I understand. I just had that question pop up. And I wasn't, I knew we weren't doing, or I didn't know for sure, admin fees, but anyway.
I have a question. As far as the distribution of the DWI enforcement funds, is there a formula for how each municipality gets funded?
How much they spent last year?
Okay. Because I see everybody's getting 2,000 except for Ruidoso Downs gets 6,000, so that was.
Ruidoso Downs spent almost 9,000 last year. State Police has spent, I don't know exactly how much because I haven't gotten their last invoice yet, but they spent quite a bit of their money. Carrizosa spent all of their money. Capitan spent all of their money. The sheriff's office got started way late. I think if they had started a little earlier, they would have spent most of their money. But Ruidoso has not spent that much, so they don't get that much.
All right.
I'm tired of sending money back, is what.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you.
What is it for, Lieutenant? How come we're not spending it? Is there a reason?
There's multiple reasons. One of them, we're short-staffed, so our officers were working 12-hour shifts.
Already?
So, and they were covering additional shifts. And so that was, it also, on the other grants we have, we weren't spending those funds either. They're just being overworked, basically.
And the Downs is shorthanded.
They really have been kind of fully
The Downs
staffed.
has actually filled
Yeah.
in lately. I mean,
Well, I know lately they have, because I see them roaming this highway there.
the last
I
6
mean,
months,
just
they've
one end to the other,
They're fully
they're
staffed.
everywhere. I know they have a shorter section to work, but yeah.
And that's the only reason. Then we were just kind of, I'm brand new to this, so understanding what we can use it for. So now, with my understanding with Bill, is that officers can use it for, let's say there's a dance at the high school, we can now use that funding to have officers have presence there for the, DWI prevention type, and proms and things like that. So, we're looking this year to start, utilizing those funds to get more officers, around our youth.
Okay. Okay.
And then also, Ginny, on the agenda and also the agenda memo for number 11, the date says through May 3rd. It should be 31st.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And my crack about the Downs and them roaming the street is in no way meant to offend anybody. It was not intending to hurt anyone's feelings or thereabouts. It's just a fact. When you drive down there, you see them work in that area.
It's good to see them on Highway 7.
Constant.
For a long time, you'd never see anything.
That's true.
I got pulled over for 2 miles over.
Really?
This year?
Yeah, just this last week. Or 2 miles.
Fortunately, I know a couple of the officers over there, so hopefully I don't get pulled over.
Yeah, so it was pretty, but he let me go.
That's not my fault.
I know it's not your fault. I'm just saying they're working it hard over there, and so okay. But thank you.
Yes, sir.
Consent?
Consent. Item number 15.
Thank you.
But then I did also get pulled over where I probably should have been hammered, and they let me go.
You probably should have been, or you were hammered.
No, I probably should have been hammered because I was a little lead-footed going through there.
Yeah. Cruise control.
Yeah.
I learned that one a long time ago.
Yeah, as right as you come in from the county,
Oh,
right
yeah.
there, boom. Discussion on agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and the Humane Society of Lincoln County for the safe and humane control of animals and protection of the citizens of the Village of Ruidoso in the amount of $95,000.
Yes, sir. And we are going to have a presentation for y'all that
Yes.
Bobby and the Humane Society are going to put on, so.
That was some pretty tough work this last weekend out at Grindstone.
Yes, sir. They got called a situation and they handled it. It was good.
Yeah, it was a family had a dog on a 6-foot leash, and some kids running around, got too close, and got his finger bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that one's gonna end up, but anyway.
Somebody wasn't controlling their kids.
Yep. So, anyway, thank you very much. Consent on those, that one?
Regular,
regular.
they have a presentation.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion on joint funding agreement 23 RGJ A23 with the United States Department of Interior, Geological Survey USGS for the operation of USGS stream flow and precipitation gauges with the village cost share of $55,027. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and council, this is just our annual renewal that we do with the USGS. We are required to monitor these different stations that are located within your packet. And so this is just the joint funding agreement that they sent over to us so we can get it signed and continue on with our monitoring.
Okay. Any questions?
Consent?
Consent?
Consent.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
Item number 17, discussion on resolution 2023-13, a resolution authorizing the assignment of authorized officers and agents with the Village of Ruidoso for the State of New Mexico Environment Department for Clean Water State Revolving Fund, CWSRF, project number 127. Christella.
Good morning. The New Mexico Environment Department has provided a grant, a grant to the village for the purpose of creating a stormwater plan. So this is part of accepting the funding. We get $250,000 from them, and then there's a $100,000 match from us. And part of accepting that funding is for this resolution to be signed off on, letting them know who's going to be responsible, for the financial part of it or for signing off on anything. So that's what this is.
Should we have those amounts listed?
I can make sure they're listed. if you'd
Y'all
like.
want the amounts listed?
That would be good.
Okay.
Okay, the 250.
In our 100,000, we're taking a loan out for that?
Councilor Coughlin, Mayor, this is the same practice that we have done in the past. We actually had that plan already budgeted 100% in the SGRT watershed area. And so we just leveraged that money in order to get a $250,000 grant. So once the plan is completed and we receive the deliverables, we'll just take the money that we already had budgeted and pay off the loan part. So we won't be extending SGRT or anything.
And there's no prepayment penalty?
No, we always make sure that we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for that explanation, because it just looked like we were taking out a loan to pay the 100,000.
Consent?
Consent.
Item number 16, discussion on agreement with White Sands Construction, Inc. through New Mexico State price agreement number, bunch of zeros, 20-0011, Zone 4, contractor BQ 50416 for the service road storm drainage improvements in the amount of $183,449.97, including gross receipts tax.
This is we completed the design and engineering for the stormwater drainage improvements at Horton Complex. And this is, we're in agreement with White Sands to go ahead and move forward with completing those improvements. We were lucky, Eric had the foresight to put that funding away. So we have about $165,000 put away in SGRT for that. And then the remainder, we'll work with Judy to find it.
The funds are already rebudgeted and already allocated to this project, so we're 100% funded.
And this is only for the Service Road side of Horton, not on Reese? Sorry to confuse everybody.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
This is for the culverts.
Does that just include?
This is only for service or
This is
nothing
just
on Reese
Service
side?
Road. This is just Service Road in front of the Horton.
Okay.
From the new Mag building to Horton Drive.
Horton, okay.
Boy, it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just think that one lot we were gonna put that trailer on, cost more than that, just for them to get that ready.
Well, and that was going to be my next question is, does White Sands have the capacity to do this? Because it seems like everything we've been using them for lately that's been dragging along a little bit.
There's, from what I understand, they're subbing this out to La Luz Paving.
He's a good one.
That's one of the, I have a call in with Zeke to see their actual schedule because, we need this done pretty quick before Cutler goes in there, so that was one of the reasons we want to get it on this council right away.
Okay. What do you want?
Might as well throw it on consent with everything else. It's going to be a fast meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
19.
Oh, I
Three
just
public
jinxed it.
hearings too.
Mayor, Mayor, may I interrupt and backtrack on number 17, the resolution? We are having a public hearing for the ordinance part of that, so shouldn't we move the resolution to regular? So there's a public hearing to authorize the village to enter into the loan agreement part of that project?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
because otherwise the consent would come before that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, you're still gonna vote on it before the public hearing. If it's regular item.
No, public, isn't regular after public hearing?
Oh, you're right. Okay, regular?
Regular.
Okay, regular.
Thank you.
Good catch. Item number 19, discussion on contract agreement by Data Mark for one of our favorite topics in the whole wide world. The readdressing project in the amount of $250,840, including gross receipts tax. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. This is going to include a presentation of their proposal to us. They would phase it three phases, and they can do it as quickly or as slowly as we'd like to. It's just right over $250,000. We did receive the $95,000 in junior bill funding, so we'll need to make up the $155,000. But it's significantly less than what was proposed during the two RFPs.
Yes.
This company, they also have the contract with the state to do training throughout New Mexico for other GIS E911 specialists for local governments. So they're familiar.
Have you had discussions, either one of you, with them about our particular instances that we talked about with the licensing, and they have plans for that?
We have told them about some of the obstacles that we've come across over the last year.
Okay.
So they'll be presenting and hopefully going through their strategy to overcome those.
Okay.
Samantha, will this be just a presentation on a proposal, or will we be having the council vote on the contract at the same time?
So our purchasing manager, Carol, she reached out to them to get a contract yesterday. They did send one over, and it's under review with Zach, but he barely received that yesterday. So we'll submit that to you all as soon as we get it with those details and make sure that there's language that holds their feet to the fire.
So regular.
Samantha, it does say there in the end that they understand that the village of Ruidoso would like to complete this project in 3 years. So is this contract for 3 years?
It potentially could be. We had talked about the 3 phases just to kind of take away some of the shock and allow people time to adjust their addresses because it's so involved. Even for residents, it's going to be a lot of work for a homeowner, a property owner.
Okay, so it's for the duration of that.
Yeah, she said they could do it as quickly as we wanted to, so it's either the delay or the Band-Aid, rip it off and get it done.
We could do that approach if that's what y'all wanted to go with.
So is this project to cover the village-wide or just the Sutter corridor,
The entire village.
entire village?
We have a lot of road naming issues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was going to ask that, Sam. My little street, Meadowwood, on the one end, it's Meadowwood. On the other one, it's Meadowwood. So is things like that going to,
Yes, and some of that comes from when we order street road name signs at the street department, and sometimes they're just ordered incorrectly. And so we'll just need to make sure, but that will be corrected
Okay.
through this.
okay.
On Google Maps, it's Meadowwood. Yeah, if you're using the directions. Yeah.
And then we wanted to, since we're consolidating dispatch, update our road names in the community, if that's something you all still want to go with, so that we don't have if there's a main here and then there's a main in Capitan or Ruidoso Downs. So it's going to be a big process.
I don't want it.
Yeah, we do have 56 identified duplicates.
Yeah.
That's going to be really tough, getting all the municipalities to agree on who gets Maine.
Yeah, and I mean, we can leave it. It's not a requirement, or we can go ahead and change it now that we're moving towards consolidated dispatch.
Because I know in Ruidoso Downs, there's a spring road, and then there's one by Wingfield.
It's because they want to be like us.
Would you like to apologize for that statement now?
No,
Just checking, just giving you the opportunity.
I know. I appreciate it.
Okay, I want that on.
I have a question.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor, Samantha. For those businesses that have multiple licenses that may cross over into federal control, what is their plan to approach that issue with relicensing addresses and delivery? Because it would essentially leave these businesses void.
We have had a discussion with ATF after everything that had blown up on sorry, that wasn't a good term, but everything that happened on Sudworth. And they said that it wouldn't be as difficult as anticipated. They thought that the process would be
This is
fairly
coming
smooth.
from a federal bureaucracy, correct?
Yeah.
Just
Nothing's
clarifying that
complicated,
issue.
yeah.
Thank you.
They said they'd be willing to help our local businesses through the process, so.
We
Do
need
they
to
have
make,
such a thing as a fast track, or, I'm not pounding it to
None
death,
that I'm
but
aware of,
I'm
no.
just a little concerned.
I know, so am I.
But if this plan is for a 3-year process, I mean, that's plenty of time, it seems like.
Put them on the tail end of the 3-year
Yeah.
process. Well, started at the beginning, put them at the end. Is that right?
Yes, I assume they'll continue with our approach with trying to handle all of the business corridors and then branch off into the side roads, into our subdivisions. Because US Highway 70 is already readdressed and they're using their new address that was provided to them.
And do
by
their,
Stephanie.
do their addresses mirror what the county has for properties in terms of their addresses or not?
Yes, so, Sudworth Drive, we provided the county an update when we were moving forward with the readdressing, and we notified, as soon as we stopped the project, we notified, the county assessor Hill, to please revert back to the addresses that were, prior established, and he would not. He said it would cause confusion for, the tax bills going out, and so those Sudworth addresses are still being reflected as to what Stephanie sent them. And we asked them multiple times to please go back, and they won't.
I see. Thank you.
regular item?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Discussion on rental purchase agreement with Wagner Equipment for lease of 420 Caterpillar backhoe loader in the amount of $149,900, $3,067.45 per month for 60 months, including gross receipts tax. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mayor, councils. Yeah, this is for our backhoe that we're gonna lease for 5 years. It's gonna be replacing the one we just got done leasing for 4 years. And it was in the budget, or it's set up in the budget, so everything's all ready to go.
Mr. Mayor. I think it's been answered before, Randy, but do you guys share, like if Josh or somebody needed something, is there a potential you could?
Oh, you bet.
Okay.
Yeah, we've assisted water distribution quite a few times when they've had a backhoe down or, they have a bunch of leaks or something. We do try to help out quite a bit.
Good.
We've helped Parks and Rec a lot in the past also, with the backhoe and an operator.
Sure, thank you.
We like to have a 10-year lease program,
Well,
like on cars.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. One is, this says rental purchase agreement, but yet we keep saying lease. Is it a rental or is it a lease?
It's a rental.
Okay, it is
You
a
know.
rental.
And then I know at the end you have the option to buy, but sometimes that cost is fairly high still, so.
Well, and that's what I was looking to see if there's a cost, because I was reading that it was a lease, but it's a rental, so no, that would be something negotiated at the time, at the end of the rental. One other thing in here, it says seat, deluxe fabric. Do fabric seats hold up well in that environment?
I'd say they would.
Oh, I was thinking like a pleather seat would hold up better than fabric.
I don't think so.
I didn't know.
I mean, we've had pretty good luck with them, so.
Okay,
Hasn't been a big issue.
just sliding in and out, it seems like you get wear on the fabric.
And granted, we don't utilize the backhoe as much as, some of the other departments, but it does come in handy quite a bit, so.
But I'll say, $3,825, that'll buy a lot of shovels.
Sure.
Just don't have anybody to run them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll say he's on the back pains and stuff.
Well, but doesn't the fire and police need to get some PT in there? So.
He's leaving, folks. Don't worry about it.
Good
All right.
point.
Where do you want this one, folks?
Consent.
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 Thanks, Randy. And we're watching that water with all the rain coming up.
What's that?
We're watching our water to Grindstone with all the rain coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be getting that on the reports.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Discussion on MOU between the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security Fire Marshal's Division and the Village of Ruidoso to facilitate accepting responsibilities for conducting fire inspections, fire plan reviews, and acceptance testing on fire protection features within the village's jurisdictional boundaries, which are?
Village of Ruidoso. And so what this does is.
That's all of your jurisdiction?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. What this does is this gives us control to do the inspections, particularly on new occupancies, where it says acceptance testing. That is when you have a licensed fire suppression company that puts in a system, and then that will give us the ability to go and accept the test to make sure that the system works. This also will give us creative control on some of our occupancies. So where we have some businesses that really can't meet the letter of the code, we will have the control to help them meet the spirit of the code and meet the intent. The other thing with the State Fire Marshal's Office is they have limited personnel in a large geographical area. So sometimes businesses may be waiting 6 weeks to get an inspection. So this will put us in their backyard, front and center. And then if there's a re-inspection issue, we can get back there and try to get their doors open so they can get on the tax roll. So that's really the purpose of this.
So it doesn't have anything to do with where our code enforcement goes into the county. That doesn't apply to this.
Well, it can. So, for instance, like the Downs, if they have an issue.
They did a great job getting that open on Memorial Day, because at the last minute, the one state official was saying no.
Yeah, so the state guy couldn't get down here with the fire marshal's office. The Downs doesn't have a certified inspector. So I called up to the state, and I have a good rapport with them, and they said, no, you can go ahead and do it. Just sign over a letter or whatever. So we got their doors open.
Yeah.
So in the event something like that would happen, we would just call and say, hey, are you good with it? More than likely, they would say, sure, and then we could go over and go outside the jurisdiction.
He's your hero.
Well, they were, because they'd done all that new construction, and they'd had this guy coming in and inspecting, and it came for that final inspection, and then a different guy showed up,
Different idea.
and he was like, and he has a beef with somebody, I forgot who it was, and he was not allowing any of it. And so they let these guys go down and
That was nice.
work on it.
They were utilizing the assistant fire chief for Ruidoso Downs, Bruce, as their inspector, but he's not really a certified inspector.
There it was.
So this will really benefit us. I mean, we'll be able to get our businesses open and work with people. So if they have an issue and they can't really meet the intent of the code, we can help them, meet the code, we can help them meet the intent of the code. So we'll have the authority to do that.
That's a great service.
Does this allow you to do inspections on village-owned properties as well?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Yes. So we specify on there what we will and will not do. We're basically saying yes to everything. The only thing that I have asked or told the state that I'm not willing to inspect is a cannabis facility with a lounge. The dispensaries I have no problem doing, but I don't want to subject myself to a hot test.
Right.
So we have one lounge facility, and they said they have no problem with that. You know, they can handle coming down just to do one.
Okay.
I don't understand, what do you mean, a hot test?
A positive test for marijuana.
Oh, by inhalation.
He goes in and inspects where they, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I understand that.
I hear
yeah.
their filtration systems are really good, but I don't want to chance that.
Yeah,
So
no, I
don't
never
wanna
even thought
subject
of
myself
that.
to that. The dispensaries they're just selling the product. There's no consumption
Right.
going on.
So do you have to have somebody within your department that's certified to conduct these inspections?
Him.
And I am.
You are?
It's just him.
Yeah, I am. We have several inspectors. I'm the only plan reviewer, but I'm certified to do those things, and we have 3 captains, Joe, and 2 lieutenants.
Yeah, so we do have several people that can do the actual inspections, the fire safety inspections within the department.
And then you sign off on them.
I can sign off
Yeah.
with them, and I'm certified to do the plan reviews and
Right.
look at the systems and stuff like that.
That's a great service.
And I mean, Bruce did a good job with me. I mean, he was very thorough. Very thorough. So.
Well, and I've had to go back and forth with the state inspector and then Ross, and it's just, nobody's talking the same language, and some of the stuff that they're picking on is just kind of ridiculous and whatnot. So our ability to support both the village and the businesses locally, instead of having to deal with that, is just, yes, this is definitely needs to be.
We've had some other places in the county call us for advice, not really do their inspections. Alto Golf Course, they called us and we went out there and did just walk through with them, tell them what we suggested, what Ross suggests for their inspections and their fire safety stuff out there. So we go out to other areas as well. This will kind of help us get a foot in the door to be able to actually do those inspections if needed.
Okay. Anybody?
That's a good one.
What do you want?
Consent.
Okay. Thank you guys for that. Item number 22, discussion resolution 2023-15A, resolution amending the Village of Ruidoso Municipal Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, fee schedule, changing the open fire pit fee. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this was something that was brought up at the last council meeting, and we had discussed with Ron to work on possibly changing the fee structure for the fire pits, and we worked with Councilor Hooker a little bit, and Zach Cook and Ron, myself and the assistant chief came up with a plan to reduce the fee. It's still everybody's still gonna have to have their fire pits inspected on a yearly basis. We're suggesting reducing the fee to $50 a year, and this will be for the calendar year when they purchase their permit, get their permit, so it'll be for 12 months. If we go into level 2 fire restrictions or level 3 fire restrictions, the permit will be deemed invalid just for that time. When we come back out of fire restrictions, go back to level 1 fire restrictions, it'll be reinstated, so they don't have to purchase a new permit like they had in the past. So that was actually taken care of in the 2021 update on the ordinance. So right now, we're recommending reducing it to the $50 per year.
Now, again, if it's like an RV park and they have multiple ones, what's the fee?
It's gonna be $50 per each one. Because in the past, it would have been $200. If we don't accept this, it would have been $200 per campsite that they want a fire pit at. That was discussed with Zach and Ron as well.
Okay.
And, just thinking, talking with Zach, there could be a way that the campgrounds could incorporate a little extra fee to help cover their cost if they have to pay for that fee as well.
I think that's a great deal. I really appreciate your work on that.
I'm just a little concerned that we'll have people that won't put their fires out, but we'll just see how that goes.
Well, you're always going to have that problem whether they're permitted or not.
Right.
So,
We do. And we'll be getting calls from dispatch no matter what. I mean, even on the ones that have current permits, we get calls, somebody sees a fire, we gotta respond, so we're taking our trucks out there to deal with it, and if they have a permit, we just report to dispatch, and yes, they do have a permit, so they're good to go, so it's just what we're gonna have to do to
well,
work
I've
with it.
noticed some of the nightly rentals around me that one had a big fire pit outside. They're all gone. They've yanked them out because to prevent the people from using it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they'll use it.
Yep.
Well, I've got a couple questions there. Is that, so the open fire permit, $50, is there somewhere in there that specifies that it's only for 12 months? That has to be paid? Because if you just read open fire pit permit, $50, one could think that's.
In the ordinance, it does state the actual year. This is just the appendix portion of it, changing the fee, but in the ordinance, it is on a 12-month basis.
When we do the inspection, I give them a brochure of the rules, the level of restrictions, the process for getting a permit, and how long it's valid for.
And we'll have that, we can get that to the council before the meeting next week. We can review that as well.
Mr. Mayor, and one thing I'd suggest is for that specific thing that you're talking about, to bold it or enlarge the font on it so that it's easily read and seen. Because when you hand someone a sheet of paper, they'll skim it, sometimes they'll catch it, and sometimes they won't, and that may help draw their attention to it.
Yes, sir.
Chief, you mentioned when we go to level 2 or to level 3, we'll just suspend their permit where before they had to reapply.
Yes.
Is that a procedural process? Because, or is that actually contained within the ordinance?
It's within the ordinance as well.
Okay, so before we were saying that when we go back to level 1, they have to reapply for a new permit.
That was before 2021.
Okay, so after 2021, we've changed it, so it just suspends it, and when we go back to level 1, we're back in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't need to touch that up as well.
And the Assistant Chief Coleman, he has email addresses and phone numbers for all the permit holders, so if we go to that level, we will send out a blanket email to all the permittees and let them know that we're going to that restriction.
Oh, that's
So their
good.
Permits are invalid until we come out of those fire restrictions.
Does PD have a list of those that have permits?
We send them to them as well.
Okay, that way if they get a call to dispatch, they can just look and go, that address, we have a permit.
They can if they have time, if they're not too busy, but, I mean, neighbors will keep calling until they see us show up, so.
Yeah. And sometimes they overload those pits,
Right, right.
and they have a bonfire going.
Mr. Mayor, you had asked how many last time we had. I told you there was about 85. When I went back that day, there's actually closer to 75. So, and that's from that are currently active.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
know that
'cause
there's
it's-
people saying there's all these.
That we had hundreds and thousands and we were making $1 million off of this. Your buddy Scott was saying that, so just wanted to find out if we were, but we're not.
Wait till he finds out we're going out there to start regulating his fire pits.
So we don't go in the county on this.
No, sir.
That's just in the village. Yeah.
Regular.
Regular?
Yeah, I think regular.
Okay. All right, thank you,
Thank
gentlemen.
you.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am?
I will also be on the consent item of the portion of the agenda, adding a request to schedule a public hearing for the July council meeting to hear a liquor license application for La Salsa Kitchen.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I did speak with Ron this morning. He asked me, I mentioned one more thing today. I got a call yesterday from Cameron Sidwell. He is not going to Michigan today to look at our truck. They came up with another little glitch in the transfer case that they found. They had got the truck pump tested, everything passed the test. They got it into the showroom, polished up, washed up, and they went to do something with the truck, and the transfer case was not working.
Wow.
So they're backing us up another, not sure how long until they can get with the manufacturer, see what's going on with the transfer case.
Wow, that's just not a lot of confidence in that.
No, sir.
Well, at least it happened before we brought it down here.
So we didn't send Cameron to look at the truck because it was not worth our money. Well, even not worth our time. The money is the company's paying to fly them out there, to go out there and look at a truck that we couldn't even operate at this point in time.
I just hope this isn't deja vu.
I know, I do too.
That-
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll go back to the The agenda will have public input, mail reports and presentations on new employees and promotions, update on the Village of Ruidoso's bid submittal for the Planning and Execution New Mexico Municipal League Annual Conference, which we were awarded 2025.
Oh, we were.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
so we got lots of work to do.
The mayor talked him into it. He made a great presentation.
Well, wasn't it great? We show up and Las Cruces has bells and whistles. They have their radio personality doing it in a big slideshow. Clovis had all the goodies, giving them around, and all they had was me. And Joe going.
That's all we needed.
So it was a little embarrassing. We had 3 openings and 3 requests. I figured, and we were begging for the 25th.
There's pretty good odds.
Yeah, but I just didn't want the year 2024 for sure. And so anyway, we got it. And Clovis, the mayor was very nice and his group that they could be ready for 2024. So this year it's in Farmington, but it's not too many communities our size get this. So there'll be 400 plus rooms, and so there'll be 1,600 people in town, and it's proposed to be the weekend after Labor Day.
Good.
So we got them to move it too. Yeah, so it was a little embarrassing when we showed up.
No, nobody.
So all 3 of those were, Las Cruces, Clovis, and Ruidoso was looking for 2025?
No, they actually were looking for 2026.
Oh.
Nobody wanted 2024. So we were the lone eagle in 2025, and so I thought one of the big ones was going to try to push us around, and so we'd already done the back channel talking and everything, and Mike said that he, from Clovis, said that they could be ready. Las Cruces already had that weekend. They said there were no spaces, that they had everything booked up. So anyway,
Well, good.
so usually there's multiple people going after 1 year, and
Yeah.
we just kind of slid in there, and they worked with us on it because everybody loves to come to Ruidoso.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we have a good chance to shine in 2025. Presentation on coexisting with Ruidoso wildlife, and I'm not sure who's putting that on.
Was Jody Canfield?
Yep, she's going to talk to us because just the other day, there were some people pouring out dried corn, and I pulled over. It's right off of Paradise and Hull. They're out there, big old pile of yellow corn, all of them sitting around, Grindstone Dam water levels. The Main Road Bridge 2, we're working on that. For those of you who don't know, Adams, all over that. Just to change, we're working with Bohannon and Houston, those guys, to get a redesign on that because it is really not good what they've proposed. And I think that's it at this time. Boards and commissions, we have a new appointment. Larry Jessen to the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport. He is resident of Alto, former FBO owner in Albuquerque and Roswell. And so I think he'll bring some levity to that board on what it takes to operate from the other side. He's already had some good suggestions, so we appreciate him.
Anything for the library?
And a new appointment for the library board. And then we'll have the manager's report, update on the Village of Ruidoso Consumer Confidence Report. Then we'll have an update on the Screaming Eagle, which is open. And they're going to have a locals free day coming up. And so that's real, it's this Sunday.
Yeah, from 10 to 4, I think it is.
Yeah, so try to get out there. I'm sure everybody else will be there.
There's going to be a line.
Yeah, but it's really awesome that he gives us, puts a free day, and he gets discounts too. The new emergency notification sirens, we'll find out about those. Then when you guys will have reports. Then we'll have public hearing on ordinance 2023-4. Ordinance for street, sidewalks, and other public places, evacuation division 1, generally section 74 to 62. Permits required in appendix A in conjunction with chapter 74 compliance and divisions in terms of permit to amend and strengthen the language. So you'll need to review all of that, and then this will make sense to you. Public hearing on ordinance 2023-5, authorize the Village of Ruidoso to enter into a loan agreement with the New Mexico Environmental Department for the purpose of obtaining project funds for stormwater management plan. This one Jenny was talking about. Item number 3, public hearing for ordinance 2023-6, an ordinance amending the Village of Ruidoso Municipal Code of Ordinances, Chapter 54, Land Use, Section 54-106, short-term residential rental overlay to revise the procedure for registrations and administrations. So we'll need to make sure that we all have that. I don't see her, she's left. If you'll make sure she's sent all that to us so that the council understands that. On the what?
The lady that came?
Yeah, and because is that not part of what this is? You know, the lady that was wanting to rent out a room, part of her house? Yeah.
During the April regular council meeting, there was a resident, Kelly Smith, that came and spoke for this change. She has since changed her mind and decided to go with what I offered her the day I met her, to sign an agreement that she'll only be renting her home when she's not there, when she's
What?
traveling.
I thought she was renting when she was going to be there. Isn't that what she proposed?
Right.
But that
That's what she was telling
changed it.
y'all.
Right.
So the day that I met her, I told her you could rent it when you all are traveling, because she said she would be doing a lot of traveling. And so that's the option she's gone with, and since my staff has inspected her home, and she should be receiving her permit today.
Okay.
So
That seems
that's,
like a really difficult thing to enforce.
yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, sure, yeah, we won't be here when we rent it out.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
ticket.
that's
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, thanks.
And Mayor Crawford, members of the council, at the Planning Commission last month, Zach worked with the Planning Commission and he prepared the verbiage there on that ordinance. So Zach has a lot of information on that also.
Okay. All right, so it's public hearings. We have a regular item, discussion and possible action on appointment of Eric Cuellar as emergency manager. I forgot, it is Cuellar, not Queller. It's Queller. I don't mind you being, correcting me. You know, just keep me straight on that. Queller. Bernalillo.
Because I do know a Quail.
How do you spell that?
Oh, ER, it's got an AR here.
Queller.
Okay, yeah.
Queller.
With a C, it's
Like Keller, only
It's Quail.
Cuellar, yeah. Yeah, we've got people in town has a C instead of a Q, and it's Cuellar, so.
Okay. And I don't know, did Sam link, there you are. Do you think we ought to give an update just in the mayor report on the EDA stuff that we're working on, just to keep y'all up to date on it, on the HATI, and then the Upper Suttereth money, and then the event center stuff, just to let you know that we're working on those two. Then we'll have closed session. Do we have closed session today?
No, today.
Not today. Oh, that's right, we don't. Okay, anything else that we think we need, that needs to be added?
So much for a short meeting.
Yeah. I don't think, but if.
An hour to read the consent.
Consent, yeah. But, so if we have anything that comes up, just we'll get it in there so we make sure we make our notice period. Oh, are you gonna have, after action report on, the event? Cause I still haven't seen it from, you know, to give us some numbers and just to break down just real quick. Okay? And then we thank the water department for getting High Loop back on. That was a long process. Those guys started early in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock, and worked till 10:30 straight through. So we appreciate those guys for all that they did on that.
Yeah, hall looked like a slip and slide early in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, and thanks to Ron and Adam for keeping me up to date, because neighbors were coming to me, and everybody was pretty calm once I told them what was happening. You know, it's not just going and patching like we normally do, and we'll have another problem in a couple of weeks.
But you want to tell them, you've got that on the bullseye to get started on that, some design. They replaced 40 feet of line, and that's what's that stuff? I don't know, asbestos, AC pipe.
PVC.
So is that part of the infrastructure that we're needing to change out?
Yes.
Within the village?
Yep, because they're working on Pine Cliff and all of that now, and that's the next area that he's identified because of all the issues that we've had over there. So just in time for you to be gone.
Well, and that's what I kept explaining to people. They go, well, why don't they just come and replace it? Well, because there's other parts of the community that are worse off than we are. And taking the hour and a half to 2 hours to pressurize back up is kind of, you turn on your faucet, hey, we got water, not enough to take a shower, but at least you got water. But otherwise, you pressurize it, and then out over on Coronado, poof, it pops. And then it pops over here, and it pops over there. So Adam was really good at slowly bringing the pressure up, keeping the system running for a while more until we have problems. The only thing is this morning coming down High Loop, where the previous break was, somebody was going kind of fast. I watched him get air. That's a pretty good bump there. So if we can kind of smooth that out a little bit, because I think it's just dirt packed up there, isn't it? Yeah. So if we could just smooth that out. Yeah, I was watching them going, woo, that looked like fun.
But they go slower now.
No, they.
Yeah, those speed bumps.
And then we are being active on signage and speed humps on Rio.
I saw a 15-mile-per-hour sign on Rio, on Upper Rio, yeah.
We have a couple more to place there, ma'am, but we did have a few up there, so we took down the existing 20, 25 mile an hour and put the signs that we did have up and replace those. And so we still have, coming down Center Street, where you turn off Center Street, we do have it one marked and called. We are just waiting for the signs to put there for the 15 mile an hour. And then we'll get the speed humps in as well.
I typically don't do it. I went through that way on Saturday, and there was another car coming. Some people were pushing a stroller, and it's like, oh my God, I had to stop behind them and wait for a chance to go around. That is a narrow street.
It is, and it's really crowded.
Yeah.
So on Center Street with the sidewalk repair, in the buildings that have the rock, there's still some of that rock that's not there. Is that all being taken care of between the contractor and the building owner?
Yes, sir. Mr. Kaiser, the owner of the building, actually met the contractor at the yard where they're getting the rock, and he picked out the rock for them to put on the building, so they ordered it.
Just right there at 102 Center Street.
Yeah. That's not there anymore.
I can't think of anything else. So if there is anything, we'll add it. But thank you, everybody. Have a good day. This meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Josh, please.
Yes, sir.